Welcome to Byte-Sized Tech, where we blend casual conversations with insightful discussions on the latest in technology and gadgets.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're locking our focus onto something seriously sleek and shimmering. Samsung's brand new 2025 QLED TV lineup.
Yeah, lots to unpack there.
We've been poring over the details, and our mission for you today is to, cut through the tech jargon and figure out what Samsung's big picture is in this, well, ultra-competitive TV world.
Definitely.
We'll be zeroing in on the Kings of the Hill, their flagship 8K Neo QLED Mini-LED TV, the QN990F, and its equally impressive 4K counterpart, the flagship 4K Neo QLED Mini-LED, the QN90F. Ready to get into it?
Let's do it. What immediately jumps out to me, I think, is Samsung's consistent approach to their TV tech. You could even call it a determined vision, maybe?
Yeah, determined or maybe even stubborn, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah. But in a market that's constantly, changing its mind, that kind of staying power is actually pretty noteworthy.
Exactly. It's like they've got a roadmap, and they're sticking to it.
Oh.
And let's be real, in the tech world, where everything evolves at warp speed, that kind of dedication can earn you some respect. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper. The TV market isn't exactly a quiet corner these days. We've got major competition. Brands like TCL and Hisense are really stepping up their game.
Oh, absolutely. They're putting out some seriously competitive sets.
So how is Samsung trying to stay ahead of the curve and, grab your attention?
Well, their main strategy seems to be just loading their TVs with pretty much every feature imaginable. It's quite something.
Like everything in the kitchen sink.
Kind of, yeah. If you look at what they're offering, it's a really comprehensive package, arguably more so than many of their rivals. Trying to cover every single capability would take all day.
Seriously. It's like they're saying, you want features? We've got features. But there was one thing that I think might have been a bit overshadowed at CES, just because there was so much news flying around, their enhanced vision AI. And this is where things get really interesting for you at home.
Absolutely. Vision AI. What's truly compelling is the sheer range of things Samsung is trying to do with it. It's not just one thing.
Right.
Take, for example, the real-time subtitle translation for content in other languages. If you're watching something without subtitles in your language, this could be a game changer.
Ooh, okay.
Of course, we'll need to see how accurate it is in everyday use. That's the key.
Right. It sounds incredibly handy if it works well. And then there's this on-screen click-to-search feature. This one really caught my eye.
Yeah, that one's interesting.
Imagine you're watching a show, and you spot an actor, an outfit you love, or even like a piece of furniture that would look perfect in your living room. You can just click on it, and the TD will supposedly give you more information without even pausing the action.
Exactly. The potential here is vast. They've talked about identifying actors, the brands behind their clothes, even those cool background details like a vintage stereo or a stylish turntable.
Like in Suits.
Yeah.
I always wondered about that turntable in Harvey Specter's office.
Totally. That kind of thing. Or, being curious about a particular sofa or media stand you've seen in a show. It really taps into that moment of viewer curiosity, doesn't it?
I know, right? I can totally see myself using that. Wait, is that mid-century modern? Click, boom, instant info. Hopefully.
Laughs. Yeah, hopefully.
And get this, it might even be able to identify filming locations. That's pretty next level.
It is. And Vision AI doesn't stop there. It also includes things like generating unique wallpapers for your TV, providing insights about your connected smart home devices, and even features aimed at pet and family care, although those definitely need a closer look to really understand their potential.
Okay, so some of those sound a bit more niche, maybe.
Yeah. Perhaps. But the key thing to note is that right now, no other TV brand seems to be offering this extensive a collection of AI-powered features all built into one set.
So whether you end up using all of it is a fair question. But you can't fault Samsung for trying to innovate here.
Yeah.
It feels like they're throwing everything at the wall. And hold on, there's more. They're even planning to integrate Microsoft Copilot at some point.
Yes, the Microsoft Copilot integration is intriguing. It opens up a lot of possibilities. We'll have to wait and see what practical benefits that brings to your TV experience, though.
Right, more waiting.
Oh.
Now, if you're someone who appreciates a bit of art to go with your tech, Samsung is expanding its art store features beyond just their dedicated the frame TVs.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
To their other premium models. It's like they're saying, hey, your high-end TV can also moonlight as a digital art gallery when you're not binging your favorite shows.
It gives you more options, You can choose a TV that's specifically designed to look like art, like the frame, Or you can have a top-performing TV that also has the ability to display artwork when you want a different aesthetic.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, let's switch gears to sound for a moment.
Hmm.
Samsung has their Q Symphony technology, which cleverly uses the TV's own speakers in tandem with their soundbars. And let's be honest, Samsung has really made a name for itself in the soundbar market, producing some seriously good audio gear.
That's true. While the idea of combining TV and soundbar speakers isn't, totally unique to Samsung, their strong reputation for soundbar quality makes Q Symphony a particularly appealing feature if you're already invested in their audio ecosystem.
It makes sense to leverage that strength. And then there's something really innovative, the music frame.
Ah, yes, the music frame.
It's literally a picture frame that doubles as a speaker and can even act as a wireless surround sound speaker when you pair it with a Samsung soundbar. That's a pretty smart way to blend audio and home decor.
It's a fascinating approach, isn't it? Integrating audio technology into your living space in a visually seamless way, a piece of art that also enhances your sound system. Very clever.
Okay, now let's talk about something that has definitely sparked some lively debates among the real TV aficionados. Samsung's new anti-glare SL anti-reflection technology.
Yes, this anti-glare treatment is certainly a hot topic. While some enthusiasts have expressed concerns about potential impacts on, black levels or viewing angles.
Right, the purists.
Exactly. But its effectiveness in minimizing reflections is pretty undeniable. For many viewers, the improved clarity and reduced distractions in brightly lit rooms will be a significant advantage.
That's a big deal for daytime watching.
For sure. And what's notable is that this technology is now included on both their flagship 8K QN90F and the flagship 4K QN90F models, making it a key differentiator this year.
It's interesting how different people prioritize different things, isn't it? Some want absolute image purism, even if it means dealing with reflections, while others really value the ability to watch TV comfortably no matter the lighting conditions in the room.
Exactly. There's no single right answer.
And speaking of a clean setup, Samsung has also upgraded their One Connect box.
Ah, the One Connect. Always a fan favorite for cable management.
Right. It's always been a smart way to manage cable clutter by allowing you to connect all your devices to a separate box instead of directly to the TV itself.
Yeah, keeps the back of the TV looking tidy.
Now, with the QN990F, they've taken it a step further with a wireless One Connect box.
Wireless. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, this means you can essentially have just a single power cable going to the TV, resulting in a remarkably clean and minimalist look.
Wow, okay. That's the dream, isn't it? No more cable jungles behind the screen, so just power.
Pretty much just power to the screen itself. And even the remote control is getting a tech upgrade. It's rechargeable via USB-C or even by harnessing the power of the sun. Yeah. Solar charging.
Solar charging on a remote. Okay, Samsung. It's those thoughtful details that really enhance the overall user experience and highlight Samsung's commitment to innovation and convenience in every aspect of their TVs.
So, stepping back for a broader view, it really looks like Samsung's strategy is centered around offering a massive array of features and pushing the boundaries of fundamental TV technologies in their own unique way.
Yeah, they're definitely forging their own path.
Whether you love their approach or not, they're definitely trying to stand out from the crowd. Now let's zoom in on the specifics of those flagship models, starting with the 8K QN990F. And this is where Samsung finds itself in a bit of a solo mission, you could say.
It is quite striking that Samsung is now pretty much the only major manufacturer still actively producing 8K TVs for the mainstream market.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
The fact that other significant players like LG seem to have exited the market or at least significantly scaled back really speaks volumes about the current state of 8K adoption.
It's exactly. It seems like everyone else has concluded that the lack of widespread 8K content and, frankly, the lower sales figures just don't justify the continued push. But Samsung is holding firm.
Yeah, they're sticking to their guns. Their reasoning seems to be that someone needs to champion 8K content creation by having TVs out there that can actually display it.
Ah, the classic chicken and egg scenario we've heard about.
That's it. It's a valid perspective,
Yeah.
Without 8K TVs available, there's less incentive for content creators to invest in producing 8K content. And conversely, without compelling 8K content, consumers might not see the need for 8K TVs. Samsung is essentially making a long-term bet on the future of 8K.
A potentially expensive bet.
Could be. But from a purely technical standpoint, the QN990F is an absolutely stunning piece of hardware, just objectively gorgeous.
Oh, it looks undeniably impressive, yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of its performance, our tech experts measured a peak white brightness of just under 2,000 nits on a small 10% screen area.
Okay, pretty bright.
and around 500 nits when the entire screen was white, like a full field white measurement. Now, some might look at that peak brightness figure and think it's a bit lower than some top-of-the-line 4K TVs.
That's an important point to clarify, definitely. With 8K LCD TVs that use mini-LED backlighting, the individual liquid crystal cells are incredibly small, right? Much smaller than 4K.
Makes sense, fitting more pixels in.
Exactly. And that naturally restricts the amount of light from the backlight that can pass through each pixel's aperture. So achieving extremely high peak brightness levels requires a very, very powerful backlight.
Right.
And then you've got current energy efficiency regulations, particularly in the European Union, which also place limits on the maximum power consumption of these TVs that can indirectly affect peak brightness too.
Oh, okay. So it's a combination of physics and regulation.
Pretty much. So while the peak brightness might not surpass some 4K models on those small highlight tests, the full screen brightness, that 500 nits, is still excellent, especially on larger screen sizes and when combined with that effective anti-glare technology we talked about.
So it's less about winning those tiny, super bright HDR highlight competitions and more about delivering consistently excellent picture quality across a wide range of viewing conditions, particularly in rooms with ambient light.
Precisely. That full screen brightness matters a lot for bright room viewing, and the reported HDR performance and color accuracy were apparently top tier, really excellent.
Good to hear.
So yeah, the QN990F really stands out as the premier 8K mini-LED TV available right now, and it's packed with Samsung's comprehensive suite of features.
Okay, makes sense. Now let's shift our focus to the 4K side of things with the QN90F. This is likely the model that will be on the radar of a much, much larger audience.
Absolutely. The QN90F is their flagship 4K Neo QLED Mini-LED TV, and it's going head-to-head with the best offerings from all the major TV manufacturers. Hisense, TCL, Sony, LG, everyone.
It's the main battlefield, really. And when it comes to brightness, it actually surpasses its 8K sibling, clocking in at just under 3,000 nits on a 10% window.
Wow, okay, that's bright.
And a little over 700 nits for full-field white in independent testing.
Those are certainly impressive brightness figures for a 4K TV. Very punchy HDR, likely. And it's worth mentioning that both the QN990F and the QN90F demonstrated excellent accuracy in filmmaker mode.
Good.
Which, as you know, is generally considered the ideal setting for watching content as the creators intended it to be seen. Samsung does also offer brighter, less color-accurate picture modes, like their standard or dynamic modes, which many consumers tend to prefer, honestly.
Yeah, that brighter, punchier look definitely grabs attention on a showroom floor.
It does. But they also have a very accurate cinematic mode, or movie mode, for those who prioritize color fidelity above all else.
So you've got that flexibility to really dial in the picture settings to your personal preference, which is good.
Definitely.
And just like the 8K model, the QN90F also features that new anti-glare treatment. And it's good to hear reports that it doesn't introduce a noticeable matte or washed-out appearance to the image.
Right. That was a concern, but it seems like they've managed it well.
Color accuracy was also reported as excellent, hitting those high targets for both the DCI P3 and BT Point 2020 wide color gamuts. P3 around 94%, BT Point 2020 around 75%.
Yeah, pretty standard, excellent numbers for a high-end mini LED2 LED.
For those at home, think of those as representing a wider and more vibrant range of colors that the TV can display compared to older standards.
Yes, the color performance is exactly what you'd expect from a high-end mini-LED backlit LCD TV that utilizes quantum dots to enhance color purity and brightness. But perhaps the most significant news regarding the QN90F is the sheer range of screen sizes it will be available in, going all the way up to a massive 115 inches.
Wow, 115 inches. That's venturing deep into dedicated home cinema projector territory, isn't it?
Pretty much. It really underscores Samsung's commitment to the trend of larger and larger screens. They're going big.
Seriously big.
It does. And what makes this particularly noteworthy is that while other manufacturers might offer 115-inch TVs, they aren't always positioned as their flagship 4K models and often come with eye-watering price tags, astronomical sometimes.
Right, like niche, super premium product.
Exactly. The 115-inch QN90F has the potential to offer a unique combination of top-tier 4K performance and a, relatively speaking, more accessible price point in that ultra-large size category.
Okay, accessible being relative at 115 inches, but yeah.
Laughs. Absolutely relative. But it's all backed by Samsung's established reputation for build quality and that extensive list of features we discussed earlier.
So for those of you who are serious enthusiasts or simply looking for a premium, high-performing TV from a brand you trust, these new Neo QLED TVs, both 8K and 4K, are definitely going to be strong contenders.
For sure. They should be on the short list.
But as we touched on earlier, the real verdict will come down to those in-depth reviews, especially when it comes to how practical and well-implemented those advanced features like Vision AI actually are in day-to-day use. Will people actually use the click to search? How good is the translation?
Exactly. The real-world performance and the actual value proposition of those unique features will be key. Does it justify any potential price premium over the competition? But Samsung has certainly presented a compelling vision for their 2025 TV lineup,
They have.
setting themselves apart through a combination of cutting-edge display technology and a rich ecosystem of unique functionalities.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Samsung's 2025 QLED TV lineup for today. It's pretty clear they're not afraid to chart their own course in a very competitive market, sticking with 8K, loading up on AI.
Indeed, their continued dedication to innovation, even in areas where others are maybe stepping back, is certainly something to pay attention to. It'll be fascinating to see how it plays out this year.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in to Byte-Sized Tech. We hope you found this exploration into Samsung's newest TVs insightful.
Yeah, I hope it was helpful.
We'd love to know what features caught your eye the most, or if you think 8K still has a future. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed the episode, like, comment, share, and subscribe for more fun tech discussions.
See you next time.
Until next time.